subscribe to What the Heck.
All right, welcome to this week's What the Heck, where I slowly change the camera and make it really awkward for everyone. Just a second. Hold on. Yeah, okay, welcome to What the Heck. We have three people. We have Frederick, we've got Forrestine, and we've got Isaac. And we're going to do super fast introductions. Hey, Josh, Southpaw, Alex, Alien Signal. We got a crowd. Cool. Yeah, so first things first, who are you? Super brief is fine. And what is your most used module? Like the thing that you can't stop messing with, no matter how cheesy it is.
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
Frederick Foxtrot. That's me. I've just been on EMS for a little while, but I don't stream near enough. But I think the community is probably the coolest thing. And as far as I don't know, I'm repping New York out in Long Island. So if you have any friends out there in Long Island, look me up. And then for as far as modules that I like, it's really strange. I really like the Phonogene, and it's really hard. I actually try to work it in as many patches as possible, even if it doesn't need it. I like sometimes try to force it, just because I like the kind of the challenge of it. It's really, you can make a lot of mistakes with it, and it's some of those mistakes that kind of end up being the thing you want. So, yeah, I guess that's my quick and short answer.
All right, Forrestine.
I'm still thinking about the question. I'm
right.
Forrestine. I'm from Canada, and it's snowing, and I probably use my VCA the most, but that's not very exciting at all.
Hey, that's important. It
Your
was like
VCA?
the unsung hero of modules. So
True.
All right, Isaac, you're up.
Yeah, I'm Isaac. I'm a student. I'm actually in Glasgow. That's why it's so fucking dark outside.
Heck yeah.
But I'm from the States. I'm from Texas. I make I'm working on making modules and also streaming here on EMS. I did the stream just like an hour ago or whatever. If I had to say my favorite module is probably for a while it's been like the Make Noise QPass. Like that thing just always sounds crazy. Like as in like putting it in a delay loop and using it as like a phaser is just it's so cool.
That's awesome. Hex 7, I'm in Colorado, where it's also snowing cold, although it's really bright and sunny right now. But I don't think you can see it. The window looks like it's a laser beam because it's just white snow reflecting inside. Yeah, and mine's probably a tie between the filter, of course, but I like you, Frederick. I like to fit in my Megadrone in as many patches as possible, even though it's like kind of dumb. Like it's one note, right? Like I can't tune it to another pitch on the go. Like so, I forgot to use it on this patch, but why? Oh, I turned it on. Actually did put it in the patch. I don't know why I muted it, because it adds some noise. Like it's such a loud, it's 10 oscillators that puts out so much output. It actually, like, if you crank the volume up, you'll be able to hear it, even though the VCA is closed.
Is that like that's like THX like Dolby 5. That
yeah,
like,
it does the Dolby effect, because they're super basic oscillators, right? With a
That's the look one, right?
yeah. What is? Yeah, it's the Locomotive No Computer Megadrone module, and it's this giant panel here. And you'll hear. Actually, you might not have heard that at all because I had the noise suppression and stuff on, so it's probably algorithm.
No, we
but...
heard that.
All right. Yeah, that one I love to fit in. I think right now it's in C, which is kind of boring. It's usually in like some minor sharp. Anyway, it's pretty fun to do chords with too. It definitely has a sound though, and I don't have enough filters because Cosmo is big. I haven't built any small filters yet, so it's always unfiltered, just sounds the same, which is, I don't know, I love it. So that's my module. Hey, enthusiastic electrons. We got to do like a DIY special one day where we just have people who've like blown up a bunch of capacitors come on and share module stories. But I want to talk about some stuff. Like Isaac, you were just playing a pretty rad set where you had some like you had some. Hold on. I've got some. Maybe it's N7. Nope. M7.
Oh yeah.
You had some like D&V chops going.
I've been playing around with. So I have here. It's right here. It's my my Norn Shield.
Yeah.
A lot. And it's a DIY one. Actually, it's even the surface mount is DIY. But it's got a script on it called Timber Player that I've been using a lot. That's just like a kind of Electron style, like sampling unit. And so I was just for that. It's just like I have a KeyStep Pro, and it's just the drum track from the KeyStep Pro going into that, and I can give it whatever I want. And so it's really easy to just like scale a sample up. So that's actually just like a really raw Amen break. I think it's like just the original one. I just pitched up a little bit and just chopping it.
Yeah, I mean it's the go-to, right? Like the Rample came with the Amen break. I think like that. I did not put that on there, but it's chopped up and ready to go, and I love it.
I've been trying to get into more kind of jungle D&B stuff as of late because I mostly make ambient, and so like I'm kind of trying to get into like house and techno and all that more, I suppose. But I really love this Timber Player sampler because I don't have any like standalone groove boxes. Like I don't have like a Model Samples or a Digitact or whatever. I really would like to try one sometime. But so this thing has kind of been a game changer that I now have like easy drums because like synthesized modular drums are cool, but
they're too hard.
So
and
hard.
They sound like, I mean, they always sound like, I mean, they're good, but it's like
Google bongos, like
yeah.
I just want to say I'm super glad that you're all saying this because I feel like a lot of people really like to keep things inside the rack, which I really respect. And I think that like some of my favorite players are insistent on making their own drums. Whereas I definitely have like my Drum Brute, and then I have my Dr. Rhythm, 670 from the early 90s, which just fits perfectly with a lot of the kind of drum bass sounds that like people love. But like anything from the 90s, right, is kind of making a comeback, and I've had it for a while. But anyways, I always felt a little bit like, okay, I'm just going to kind of, be on, I don't know. It pleases me that other people feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat those sounds. Like, yeah.
There are like some ones that I'll do, like, okay, like a hat or a shaker noise. I've got a make noise tell harmonic that gives really, really clean, high digital noise. And like that thing makes better hats than any samples that I have. And so sometimes I'll like just have it patched up to my hats, and then everything else will be samples. Or like I'll just use like a kick, like an 808 like synthesized.
Yeah, I've plots is really good for if I do want to kind of on the fly kind of add some, snare, or there's a whole like a bunch of kind of drum sounds from plots that I'll just connect.
Yeah, I was like very crotchety about drums until Benjamin lent me a DFAM, and it's much easier now. I just I hate patching drums. It's just like, how many modules do you need to make one snare? It's a lot.
It's so much if you're doing it with modules, and like the I think the playability of it can be somewhat limited depending on your setup, but like the DFAM's an awesome out of the I think an out of the box drum machine is a way to go. Like if you're gonna go out of the box with one piece of gear, like the Drum Brute, like it's way more compact than doing it with like, I don't know, 12 drum modules and distortion and all the shit you need to make drums happen.
Also, I find it's also kind of like genre dependent. Like if I want like really like clean drums, you're like doing something that's like a house beat or something, you need a 909, you need a 909 hat, you want like a clap sample, you want all that.
Yeah.
And if it's like you want some like weird ambient bells and gongs and things, that's more fun to synthesize. I have a Buffaco Percol, which is like one of my favorite modules of ever, and that thing is so helpful if I just want to like turn an oscillator into a drum.
That's awesome. I think Kyle was mentioning in the chat the WMD drum modules are the way to go. Those are on my short list right now, because I do like and the Queen of Pentacles is rad.
The Kraken, that one is the
that looks pretty good.
Yeah, the Kraken is top.
The one that sounds like the weird like metal metallic kind of thing. I forget which one that is, but
I love making.
There's the Kraken. The other one that does metallic stuff is like the BIA, but that's not WMD.
No, it's shit. I'm trying to think now.
There's another one. Yeah. So I was looking at we're gonna loop back to the Queen of Pentacles real quick because I'm very obsessed with drums lately. But like, the short of it is like I feel like samples are what you like complete a set. Like it makes it more flexible as to what you can do in terms of drums. Like you can't get those sounds out of modules easily. It just takes too much. But the Queen of Pentacles is like a really good performative in between. Like it's definitely designed with techno in mind, like straight up 4 to the floor or whatever. But I think it's got to be performative. Like the samples on my ramp are like mediocre performative. Like my hack around it is like, let's first of all switch to that. Like I have 2 ears modules putting CV in so I can mangle them or like stutter them a little bit. Anyway, stupid. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. But samplers. I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Can I just take a moment to complain?
Are we complaining about samplers or sequencers? Because it's only been like a few days. Oh yeah, yeah.
And people keep saying, "I'm glad you have some percussion now," and I'm like, "But I've always had some kind of like blam noise. I don't know what you want from me."
I'm guilty of saying almost that. I was like, your melody game has like skyrocketed once you were forced to like use 8-step sequencers, because like it's harder on the longer sequences. Like it always sounds good, and I'm not. This isn't like a complaining. It's just like now I can bob my head to stuff.
I don't usually use really long sequences. I usually like do 4 steps or something. I don't know, man.
I don't
People are
know.
like hearing what they think
Long
something
sequences are
else-
overrated.
4 steps is all you need. 4-step
steps.
sequencers. Let's go 2 steps if you're hardcore.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I just
Maybe
like-
maybe it's a BPM thing.
Yeah.
it could be
like-
a BPM thing. Like there's
Yeah.
always been like percussive sounds in my music, and people keep saying, "Oh, I'm glad you have some now." So
No,
that
that's
is
just
all.
like percussive sounds I recognize versus like
Mhm.
you'd put in like
Lamb!
yeah, like Blam is a
fine.
good way to put it because it's I don't know, it wasn't like always FM synthesis, but like some of the more notable ones sound like almost like a crazy FM drum or something. I don't know. Yeah, you
And
have
I had a
always had
BIA
something.
in my case for like several months.
Oh yeah, that was the thing
I
I
wanna get
remember.
another one. Like I was just like, what the hell? Anyway, glad you're not doing drones anymore. I'm like, I did. Anyway,
I've always
I
thought
do
your
want to
rhythm-
complain. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I always thought your music was rhythmic, but I mean I definitely I don't think when I think of like the typical patch, the 4-steam patch, you hear the big splashes, but it's maybe not necessarily I'm gonna intuit when it's gonna happen next.
oh yeah,
Right?
you shouldn't get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is what I think. I think where the regularity of that attack, right? I think is what people mean when they say,
Like
"Oh, now there's rhythm," right? And that's what I think I mentioned this to you earlier on, like that your rhythm is not the same thing as a lot of people's rhythm, right? Which was unique about it.
He's not talking about sense of rhythm, just the way you use rhythm in your track.
Exactly. You're not a like regularly spaced attack, like hard edge defining exactly what is that. And you can't, like I said, you can't necessarily always bob your head because you don't know exactly when the next one's maybe coming along. But
Whereas the DFAM's like, I'm gonna do the same thing over, party time. Like,
Oh, except I've started triggering it randomly again, so I guess
Yes.
people will be sad now.
good.
I say keep on doing what you do.
Yeah. Who cares? Just make stuff that you like.
I need to figure out a way for like a random pulse because I've got a West Coast random source. I've got a Sputnik one, but it doesn't really make like just like random clock pulses. That just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
have
It's not, like I'm
2
wondering
different
if there would
modules that put out a random gate.
with like a sample and hold or something, or because it feels like even if you use a sample and hold, it's still like regularly quantized to something. Like it's always going to be like whatever in a division of some kind.
Well, like Diode Chaos has a random trigger, but it's not very square.
Yeah,
This thing is like
that
kind of an
soft-
awesome little sequencer. It's the Bastel Bit Ranger.
Oh.
And it's like hardcore because there's no filter on it. Like full open oscillators that are gnarly that are sort of FMing each other a little bit. But the cool thing about it is the clock speed is just an LFO, right? And it's got a bunch of inputs, so you can like it's got a shitload of clock dividing here, which is also awesome, and some like combinating and stuff. So you can use pitch and clock dividing and stuff to really do some crazy variable clocks and stuff with it. You just never see me stream it because it's even like kind of harsh to me, and I like bad sounds.
Yeah.
There's no bad sounds. It's just bad applications of sound.
There's just bad ears. I got to get better ears.
Your ears are wrong.
No bad sound, just bad taste.
Yeah. That's cool. Variable clock. That you were talking about variable clock the last couple of days, I think. That just got me thinking, like, how would I do it? And I have no idea.
So like, yeah, the thing is like, because I think Noise Tools has one or something like that, or I feel I'm trying to think of it just like something where it's just like a clock that just goes just whenever because
That's yeah. There's a
Yeah.
few Zlab modules that do that.
Oh,
Zlab is
LFOs. You can use LFOs with hard edges that if they have
Yeah.
voltage input to, yeah, cool.
okay. Maybe because I have two voltage controlled LFOs actually, so maybe I'll try.
Yeah, that could be
some-
fun to try.
Yeah, if you could put something into the rate in and you could put like a noise
I
source
could
into
probably
that.
just put a fluctuating or a sample and hold voltage into the.
Yeah.
So to bring
I would
back the,
Oh, yeah.
go on.
There you go ahead.
I was going to say to bring back the. I was trying to doing a pitch defense of Wogglebug a few weeks ago, I think,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and you actually not only does it have the Woggle LFO, which will make the stutter, but it also has a speed input as well and an influence. So you're able to take external like rhythm sources to then even further like complicate the actual clock if you want to use it as a clock. So and then of course you can take that and put it into one of like your attenuverters and maths to then be able to manually then kind of shape it and pitch it, So I don't know. I think that at first glance I was just looking at how I might do it, and that's probably how I might do it.
Isaac, you're working on a clock module, right? Like, am I misremembering?
I am, yeah. So I've had an idea. I'm just now learning about some, I'm getting into STM32 coding. I've never done any coding before. And so I'm starting to learn C++ just for university. And I was thinking it would be really nice because I really like 1U. I actually have a 1U module in the mail that it's my first PCBs. I'm really excited about it.
Ooh, what is it?
It's called Shale. It's just a little amplifier. It takes a stereo mini in and then just gives you modular out, and then it's got two attenuverters, so you can do a balance if you want for like LR levels. But I was thinking there aren't really that many modules aside from something like PAMs that have just like a number, just like a BPM as a number, and then you can just press play and like use that as like a master clock because it's hard to find things that have the screen on it. Like sometimes you'll have a module that has maybe like some little labels on the knob or something. But I thought it would be really handy just to have like a 3-digit, like 7-segment displays that is just like, this is 120 BPM. You can just start and stop it whenever. And 1U, so it's like not taking up space in your rack.
Man, I think I've seen that before.
I can't think of anything that would do it. There's the Mosaic, at least in 1U, definitely not. Because Mosaic has like a tap LFO as well, or a tap tempo. But like even then, it's like sometimes you just need a number, or something you can just reset and then bam. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on that. I got it sketched up. I have no idea exactly how I'm going to code it. I mean, I have like a kind of idea, but
cool.
Sort of a learn as you go,
cool.
I'm stoked. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be so cool.
I'm excited if it works out. I'm trying to kind of get together like a whole little line of 1U utility modules because I really like 1U utilities modules. And I recently purchased this case has 204 HP or 208 HP of 1U space that is going completely unused.
Unused. Wow, it's like just gonna mult strip.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
I'm working on a tileable attenuverter, so you can just have 20 attenuverters all in a row that could act as a big mixer, a 20-channel mixer or something.
Nice.
So hopefully you can just toss those in, ad infinitum.
With some bipolar LEDs because,
Yeah, they've got. I really wanted to do. I was looking into sourcing parts for. I wanted a. So you know how like the Volcas have the clear knobs.
Yeah.
I wanted to see they're kind of uncommon to find, but like on the Rene has it where it's actually a clear shaft for the potentiometer, and that with a clear knob on top, I think would look really cool. So you could have your like CV being actually on your knob.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
And space saving. That's cool.
Right? Yeah, definitely. And so thinking about that, it's just sourcing those parts is kind of weird. It's sort of an uncommon thing to find.
Yeah. Not a great time to source parts either.
Niche parts, especially
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, or you will find it, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, order 500 of them, please."
Mhm.
Like I can't.
We're happy to manufacture that for you, but I don't want to be a potentiometer seller. So
And the sample gravy train is kind of over, isn't it?
Mhm.
Nelson was
the
ordering a
Volca
lot of free
sample.
samples. No, like you could order free samples of chips from
Oh
manufacturers.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wish.
I was like, but that's not a bad idea. You could like
You should try it
find
though.
some
Nelson was
broken
ordering
Volca
a bunch
sample
of
and
those.
just like
Mm.
salvage some pots.
Oh yeah, totally. I just don't like trim pots. It's not that I don't like trim pots, but I feel like if you're gonna have one knob on your thing, it
I
shouldn't.
know,
Be.
and you can't turn a trim pot with one finger. It's a deal breaker.
There you go. The
Wait,
big struggle with it is
Wait,
like,
we're talking trim pots. We're talking about the little tiny blue
like
or whatever.
yeah, like the little ones. I'll say the thonk, like the tall trimmer toppers, like I have on my Volca. I have the clear ones actually, so you can see through it.
Those
And
are
it's a
pretty
little-
nice. Yeah,
a
I want
little
to get some
bigger.
more of those.
See, that's not what I'm referring to. I was referring to like the ultra tiny that are just like a tiny little copper or brass screw head that you need the tiny screwdriver
Oh.
for.
Oh yeah, like on some of the what's it the endorphin stuff. They've put
Yeah, I mean, I
stuff
have some on my modules too, like specifically the oscillators, because it's they're for like centering, tracking, and some other
in. Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Where I need like volt, it's just easier to do it on the.
If you have any
front.
Instro modules, funnily enough, they hide those underneath the knobs.
Ooh,
Yeah, I recently.
that's so good.
I don't know if this is like a trade secret, but I went by there because they're here in Glasgow.
Yeah, that's
so
right. I knew that. Yeah.
And I went by their labs and I got to see all their shit. And
That's cool.
something I noticed because they had all the panels pulled off, but like on their Neoni, like the new through Zero FM, there were like it's got the long skirt on the bottom of the big main pitch knob, and if you pull that off, there's like 5 different little trim pots that are just showing
That's
through
so
the
good.
PCB. And I was like, that's fucking genius. Like, if you want to hide your tracking, so you don't always have it there.
That's amazing. I'm really glad mine are on the front. There's a couple of trim pots in these modules that are on the back that are super annoying. Like that's a Queen of Pentacles thing too. I think there's a trim pot on the back of it for adjusting like the pitch of the kick drum.
Yeah.
In a
I've
significant
heard
manner. Yeah.
People complaining about that, or the SD card being in a hard to reach spot.
On the back too. Yeah. I mean, I you can only fit so much, and they put like 7. Like they're fighting for space, but I still feel I love on the Drum Brute, like there's a pitch knob, and it's not very precise. It's like you can go, I think, a whole octave or something, maybe 2 octaves, and like that rules. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, screens. I want to loop back to screens a little bit, like the numbers 7 segment display kind of things.
Yeah.
Something that I've learned, because I've only had these oscillators, which all have a tuner built in, with a little single, display.
Oh yeah, with the little
LEDs.
thing. I've seen those. I wanted to build one of those sometime.
Yeah, and so what I learned is,
like
so I got the
schematic.
Casper and Pollux because it's my first Eurorack oscillator, and it's beautiful, but I find it super annoying to have to like use an external tuner of some sort to get that initial pitch, which is only because I'm aligning things to pitch, versus this, like if this gets knocked off or whatever, or if there's low power, like it's really easy to compensate and get like in the neighborhood without even hearing it. So that's like something I want to see more.
Casper and Pollux, actually, it's interesting you bring that one up. I have one as well. I'm a really big fan of Winterbloom. I
also have one.
Winterbloom modules in my rack.
Yes.
I love Thea's stuff, but that actually, I don't know if you know, but it has a special because it has a microcontroller in it. It's an analog oscillator, it's a digitally controlled oscillator, but it's got a microcontroller in it.
Yep.
And the pitch knob on it is less sensitive near the middle than it is on the sides. And that is something that I haven't really seen anyone else do. And I actually find it's my easiest to tune oscillator because I have like the 2 HP one, and I have a couple other VCOs where it's like, you do have to pull out a tuner, but with this, it's just like, if I get it kind of around the center, it kind of snaps to where it's supposed to be.
That's a good tip. I'm going to try that because I just looked over and yeah, they're like pretty much straight up and down.
You can adjust it also. You can adjust the
pitch
range in the firmware or in the editor. And so you can be like, I want this to be +2, -2 octaves, or I want it to just be +1, -1 octave,
Yeah.
or just a whole octave across the whole thing.
Oh, I'm going to do that
Like
because
if
what
I
I
want-
want is the second. I want both of them to be this way. I want this one to be a sort of mid-range lower, and this one to be a little bit higher, like one octave
Yeah,
up from
yeah, you
the
can do
first
that.
one.
You can do that all in
And
the editor, yeah.
and
Um,
what's cool
Very
about this
nice.
is it goes like this fine tune knob goes up 6 steps and down 6 steps, right? So it's really easy to get up to a fifth just without even thinking about it. I want to do the same thing with Casper and Pollux. That's awesome.
Yeah, I
totally
was
set that.
thinking maybe heck you were spoiled like me with the fine tune knob because I have a fine tune on my primary oscillator,
Yeah.
and it's just like trying to turn the little trim pot to tune it is just like a nightmare. But I'm getting better now. I've had the thing for like almost a year. Like I had pre-ordered it, and I'm now finally able to like tune it. But you have to be really confident when you tune it. Like turn it very confidently in one
Yes.
go,
actually
and then if you very very confidently turn it, suddenly it's the right note.
That's so good. That's so good.
I'm not really using them because they've kind of thrown out of tune, but I've got I've got a whole set of these analog systems with these guys here. These British oscillators have a special Vernier knob where 10 turns of this knob is its entire range. So you actually turn it 10 times. It has a number and a little like thing here.
There's a
Wait.
thing.
Wait, it's not an encoder. It's a knob that like
No.
can turn all the way like 10
It's got
times.
gears in it. It's got gears in it, and so
Ooh.
you can turn it 10 times to either side, and you can't really see it, but it has a little number it flicks to, and it's even got a lock, so you can't fuck with it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's so cool.
Those, yeah, that's their like EMS. That's like on the EMS Synthy has those oscillators, and they're based on the EMS Synthy, and so you can turn it 10 times. I feel like the Endorphins, one of their modules has it as well. They're kind of their Buchla oscillator, whatever the Buchla complex oscillator they make has it also, where it's got a knob that's geared so that you can turn it 10 times, and it looks like uber accurate right there. You don't even need a fine tune.
That's wild.
And so
Now I want one.
I think they still make them new. These are the older version. I'll say I just haven't been using them because I've had these for like 6 years now, and they've gone completely out of tune at this point. So like they don't track well anymore. Instead of having just one trim pot on the back, they've got like 4.
Oh,
to calibrate
no.
it. You need to like put it into an oscilloscope and like apply precise voltages to the inputs.
I think they're probably the same as what I've got, where like there's only 3 trim pots on the front, but there's one, I think there's, if I remember right, there's one on, there's 4. One is a reference, so you need the reference voltage.
Yeah.
And again, using a
I just
use a
haven't-
multimeter and all that shit. It's super annoying, but
bothered. It seems like such a pain in the ass, and I'm in my flat. I don't really have proper electronics equipment. I'll hopefully have more access to the uni electronics labs, where they've got like nice shit. So I'll bring them in and like actually tune them sometime.
I'm not gonna lie. When I look at like modules, I think, okay, what's this gonna look like in 15? What are the innards gonna look like in 15 years? What's the first thing that's gonna break? What are the things that I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix, on these things? And if there's anything like, trust me, I think I would think it was awesome, and I'd certainly get one. But I would look at like if it has a gear in it, I'm like, all right, that's gonna in 15 years, that's not gonna be working unless I keep it up to and will I do that? So it's one of those.
Yeah, my complaint about these is like the way that they've silkscreened on the numbers. A lot of the text has rubbed off of the panel, which is always a huge fucking bummer. And like they're really delicate. They're really beautiful. They're handmade. All of them have hand wiring in the back and all that. They're super deep, and they use a different power connector. It's such a weird line of stuff, but
I see your complaint about that text rubbing off as an opportunity.
Opportunity.
Yeah. I'm too much of like I don't want to fuck with
Rebrand.
They're so beautiful. I don't want to mess with them.
I feel that. I mean, I do think about that a little bit, Frederick. Like there was one, so I replaced the power supply on this yesterday fully, which meant taking every module out. And this module was the first module I've ever put together. And I happen to know it was ultra fragile because not only is there's a huge PCB, but it's a single PCB behind here. And for those that haven't built Cosmo modules, the 1/4-inch jacks are really deep, so they won't go on the same PCB as like the switches. So the switches and LEDs are all on one PCB and potentiometers, whereas the jack sockets are all just free, just wired in. And what I'd done is I was trying to do it really nice, like do it right the first time. And so I used these Molex connectors and a crimper with solid core wire. And that's where it went south right there. If you've ever crimped solid core wire, you know what I'm talking about. It makes the already fragile wire, like if you breathe wrong on it, it will snap. Like just taking it out carefully, I watched 4 wires disconnect.
No.
One, like 2 broke, and one just like 2 of them just came off of bad solder jobs on the jacks. And I was like, well, I guess I'm rewiring this entire thing today. Like, so I went back and like pulled all the Molex connectors off and desoldered a bunch of stuff.
It's like when you bend a paperclip a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's exactly what the effect that crimping has on solid core. So yeah, stranded for anything you're crimping for sure. But now it's solid.
I have a DIY synth that's like that. That's all actually, hold on, I can grab it. It's right here. It's all solid core, or it's either solid core wire on the inside, or I use those breadboard connectors like soldered to strip board. So it's currently contained inside here, but this wiring is awful.
Oh my gosh. And it's so fragile. So like my pain, like if you remove that lid, like things are gonna happen.
Lid.
Actually, it stays together pretty all right. I'm not gonna do it now. This is a prototype for a module, if you'll believe it. It's a SH101 synth voice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get some Isaac modules, just the PCBs though, so I can make Cosmo panels.
I am going to make the PCBs. I'm gonna open source all this as soon as I finish it. So I'll keep you in touch.
Looking forward.
Yeah, but like this thing, it's like the wiring in it is so bad. Like it's super noisy, and I don't think if I make a PCB, it's going to be noisy. I've been in kind of routing hell. I chose this as my very first kind of like design thing, which was a mistake on every account because it's just like when you get to routing that on a single board, putting an oscillator, filter, mixer, VCAs, all that, like in one thing. It has like the PCBs I've been working on, just like routing the big connector in the middle that connects all of the things between the motherboard and the jack board. And it's just been a huge pain. So it's been like shelved for so long because,
you gotta start simple. Like my modules that I made are really simple. Like the first one that I made was this rotary dial, which is essentially just this dial, which already has 4 wires coming off. And then I made a really basic LED circuit, and that's it. But I got so excited. I found this out yesterday too. I got so excited when I built this, and just put it in the box. I didn't bother cleaning anything up. So when I took it out yesterday, somebody was like, holy shit, that's like a rat's nest. I was like, oh yeah, because my solder jobs were really poor. It's like these little the hook connectors shoddily soldered to the leg of a resistor. No LED legs had been trimmed, and they're bending and almost touching, which yeah. So I cleaned that up too.
On strip board as well, which like Vero board, which is its own nightmare. Its own nightmare to troubleshoot.
It's so flexy, it's super breakable, I think.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I just have found it's the kind of thing where you'll get the schematic and you're like, okay, I think this works. You'll make it on the breadboard and you're like, I know it works. And then you translate it to the strip board, and then you have to spend 3 hours troubleshooting it because you've got things bridging over, connecting, or not connected right, or you've messed up the grid. It's a huge pain. DIY Layout Creator. That piece of software is very nice for any amount of DIY.
That's rad. I'll have to look at that.
You should look it up. It's really cool because you can actually even lets you plan out breadboards and stuff, and it's got nice pictures, and the graphics on it are really nice.
DIY Layout Creator.
It's just DIY LC. It's good for a lot of guitar pedal people use it for laying out the strip boards for guitar pedals.
Yeah. That's
it's a
cool.
really nice. You can change like the opacity of parts so you can see through at the bottom and see like which holes they're supposed to go into and things. So it's great.
That's rad. Yeah, I want to make some more modules, but again, really basic stuff. I'm not not going to attempt an SH 101 or whatever.
It's been a journey.
Yeah, I imagine.
A lot of Look Mom no computer schematics. Like I'm using his schematic and stuff for the VCO. It's the CEM 3340,
Right.
and so I've got that, and then like Frankenstein onto it is a sub oscillator from another guy on the internet. It's got Rob Hurdick, his Benjalin, the filter on the Benjalin is the filter in this thing, which is a really weird sounding filter, but it's really cool. I've been working on it. The guy's been helping me out with it, Derek Holzer, if you know him. He does a lot of really interesting video art stuff, but he's been kind of helping me out with this thing. It's like, you know.
That's rad. That's super cool.
So can I ask a couple questions to people who like seriously build apparently, a lot? Is that I know that like I know people who build and I watch them, and I think one of the biggest reasons why they either put it down for a while and don't come back or just take breaks is because of how it's very time consuming and so aside from just having the pleasure of making music, which a lot of people use the instruments, but actually doing the other side of it, which is building them and things like that, is that for people who are looking to get into building, there's that initial kind of, because you save money, there's all sorts of reasons to do it.
Yeah,
right?
no, definitely.
What's if they're going to hit that time consumption? Holy crap! It's going to be easier just to buy something or just put it down, and not come back. I literally know people with like rooms full of parts, that they could turn into modules if they wanted to, but they literally just are like, I don't have the time to do it anymore. So that said, what is your both of yours, and of course, Forrestine, if you also build, cutting time down, how do you cut the time out? What's one or two steps you could say would, that you've learned that not to, waste time on or something like that?
If I can start, I'll say, when I first wanted to get into building stuff, I wanted to be like, okay, I'm gonna learn to solder, right? And so I bought a really cheap kit on Amazon and a super cheap soldering iron. And I picked it up, and just one afternoon I tried it, couldn't do it. I put it down for 6 months, didn't touch it again after that. At some point I finally got back into it. I was like, hey, this isn't that bad. And I put together a module successfully. And then I got another kit, couldn't do it, put it down for another couple months. The thing that finally broke the camel's back was getting better tools. I sincerely think that if you want to save a lot of time, a lot of it's recognizing where the jank is in your tooling. Invest in a pretty good soldering iron, because the cheap soldering irons will make your life so much worse and make everything so much harder. If you're crimping a lot of wires, get one of those wire strippers that you just pull and it just pulls back the thing. Not one of the hard to use manual ones or all that. It's I find having the right tools and having the right everything there makes it a lot easier to just jump in and work on stuff,
I would second that. I mean, there's a few exceptions to that, and I think I went a long way with the $20 Radio Shack soldering iron. And learned a lot. But the second I was like, all right, I'm gonna invest in a good one, I got a Hakko and whatever the cool blue and yellow one is, and a few tips. And the second I switched to a chisel tip, that was money right there. One, it gets a little hotter, which heat is your friend.
Heats out the solder faster, yeah.
And the chisel tip itself disperses the heat. It has more contact with that. And Tim just learned this, I think a couple days ago. Just tried it out, using the chisel tip. But I would say things to save time are to start simple, right? Don't anything that requires wiring. That if you see someone doing something like this, no matter how cool that thing is, don't build it. Don't start with wiring, because wiring takes a really long time. Even with the right tools, it can take a long time. This, was one that sat on my bench for at least 6 months, and it's a dual
Oh, that's beautiful.
quantizer.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
But it took me a very long time, and like it's a niche thing, not made by a company. Like one person made it and sent me a piece of the PCB when I sent them a little cash. And then it was up to me to like source the parts and make it happen. So like there's no one to help you there. Don't start there. Like start with something like all through hole, like comes with PCBs, hopefully comes with parts.
Yeah, or
and
a lot of
hopefully-
the things that have surface mount pre-soldered
Yeah.
onto it, like
Yes.
the Winterbloom kits are really good. I keep plugging Winterbloom, but the Winterbloom kits, like the big honking button, I have one here, the big arcade button. That thing is stupid simple to make. Yeah. That thing
Yeah.
is stupid simple to make, super useful, great module, and it's just like it takes you 2 hours to build it with even if you've never put something together before, and like it just works. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Easy kits is a good way to start. Don't start with anything that requires wiring. Don't start with anything that even requires you making a Mauser order for your own parts. Like
Right.
that is consuming and hard.
Like I kicked that can down the road. I hate ordering parts. It doesn't matter where you order it from. It's always kind of a nightmare experience. So
Like my partner's favorite thing is making bombs. Like, like he would rather do that than build anything.
Oh my god! I just
ordering
got
parts is just a pain. Like you gotta like.
He loves it. He's got
Yeah.
spreadsheets.
Wow.
I don't understand that, and like
Microsoft Excel.
I mean, I do like I have. So for those of you not familiar, a BOM or a BOM is a bill of materials, and it's often what comes with like you'll get one of those with a PCB that comes without any components, and you're up to you to find everything on that sheet, and they're not always like particularly well documented or anything like that. There's a lot of nuance. So like if you see like TLO 72, like you need to make sure you get the TLO 72 that matches the footprint of what you're getting. It could be like a surface mount TLO 72, or it could be like like there's a lot of variation. And when you start looking up resistors, which again, don't do that. There's like 500 variations of like one value of a resistor that you have to like learn about. That sucks.
Yeah.
So
He'll
again,
often spend like an entire weekend doing this, and we'll order parts for one module from like 5 places. It's
I
just
was
like,
gonna try and put together so Mutable Instruments back in the day used to do some DIY designs and kits, and they
Yeah.
had one called the Shruthi and then another called the Ambika. And the Ambika seems really cool. It's this really
oh,
cool,
it's
like,
so much
6
work. I
voice
know someone who built one.
digital, like analog hybrid thing with different voice cards. But just putting one together is such a task because you need the motherboard, and then you need 6 of like the same voice card PCB and there's like 4 or 5 different varieties of them for different filter types. And then you need to get the parts for all of them, and half the parts when you plug it into Mauser or something are like no longer made or some shit.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's just like, I want this thing, but the labor to just source everything is, it's
Yeah.
much.
So to loop back to your original question, Frederick, to save time, like the things that have helped me go fastest is 1, understand your building from smallest component to biggest component when soldering things on. 2, have a hot soldering iron. Like, again, like a mid-range soldering iron will help that because it'll just be a nicer quality of thing, and usually ships with a smaller chisel tip of some sort. But like the heat, like the actual heat value of the soldering iron matters just as much. Like I'm soldering around, I think 650 Fahrenheit, which I'm not going to do the translation right now, to Celsius. I think it's around 350-ish.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference. And I would also, and I'm going to hate that I'm saying this, I would also start with leaded solder.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier to learn on before you start going for lead-free. Lead-free is also not the trickiest once you get the hang of it. But again, you need an even hotter soldering iron. So
Oh wow.
but those 2 things save me the most time because then you can just cruise through it.
Yeah, you said
343, if you wanted to know.
Oh.
343.
Yes.
Close enough. That's the smallest component to the biggest component, I think, is interesting as well. I mean, I say this just because I think with everything that, whether it's this or picking up a guitar or doing anything, there's always that first hump where people are going to quit, you know. And I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
for some reason, I think building, because I mean it has so many like benefits. I think time is probably
I think too, like I don't build modules, but I sew and I do knitting and stuff. Another thing is also, if you're gonna stop working on something, you should store it properly and like put the instructions with it and write down where you were. Because
oh
like
yeah.
I have a
Oh,
cardigan I almost finished making and I don't know where I am or where the instructions are.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think every person who does DIY has a box of shame just full of uncompleted projects because they can't go back. I know I've got a poor like a Dreadbox Antiphon sitting in there. I've cannibalized some of the chips for other projects and it's just sitting there half finished. And
Yeah.
it's like I should go back to it, but I just
Would it take you so long to even figure out where you are on something like that
Yeah.
when you're in the middle of something?
you're just like,
You're like, oh, I'll just remember that. You will not.
you won't. No.
I
It's
just
also back in Texas for me, so I can't.
That
I
doesn't
just
help either.
don't care about future me is the problem. I'm like, future me can figure this out later. He'll catch up. He's decently
He's
smart
a smart
guy.
boy. No.
Future me is like, past you is the worst.
Past me is such a narcissist. It's ridiculous.
But one thing that helped me like cruise through like I built most of this in like a year was that I didn't. I wanted to build Cosmo. I wanted to, save some money. And mostly I just wanted to build it, right? Like there's some satisfaction with the IKEA effect. Like I didn't design most of the circuits. I built the filter first, which, it does nothing on its own other than if I crank the resonance, it can be an oscillator, I guess. But then I built one of these oscillators and all of a sudden, like I have a thing that makes noise. I didn't have a case. Like I had like a loose power supply and like the lid of a box, like kind of what you showed earlier, something like that, where it's just like loose and held together. And that got me fired up. So like I knew, okay, well, here's where I want to go next. So I got to build that. And so I just dedicated time to it because I was enjoying it. And the pandemic hit. So everyone was like in more hardcore quarantine, which also gave me more time to learn about.
Yeah, this was basically my entire quarantine pet project was trying to figure out how to put together a synth voice.
But then like once I had this built, like this is everything to me. Like I love it. I didn't have any other places to put modules in. So like my building pretty much stopped once I got to a place I was happy with. Until recently where I built another case with a new power supply down here, right? Like, sorry, let me back up more. That bottom left case. And so that's a Cosmo case ready to go that I built. And so now I'm getting a little more fired up because I'm like, okay, I get to plan a new case. I get to build some stuff. So I'm starting to put together more modules. And like the modules like this that are just in my cabinet will get used. This is essentially an offset attenuverter dingy. But like I can have more fun with that because like that's not a case I want to like take anywhere. I can put whatever I want in there. Like it can be super silly. So that gets me fired up. So I'll start building again. That's what got me going. But I built that power supply, which I'd been really avoiding because it's mains, and I didn't want to blow myself up. And I did not. And once that worked perfectly, I was like, okay, well, this one's power sagging, so let's try that power supply in there. And I did that, and everything just like worked perfectly. And I was like, well, now I know that those oscillators don't sound any good anymore. Maybe there's not enough power in that one, so I built it there. So that's
when like
that's what
so you're
spiraled.
building something and like just the pure satisfaction, the concentrated serotonin you get from like spending a couple hours on building something and then plugging it in and hearing it just fucking work is the thing that really hooked me. It's just like you plug it in and it works and you can make music with it. Is just it's an indescribably cool feeling.
And you get that every time to a lesser extent when you play with that stuff. Like it's like I would hug this if I didn't get 20 splinters doing it. Because it really feels good that I built that. Another thing I'm going to mention, just because you reminded me, if you've built a module for the first time and it's getting late, don't plug it in. Just go to bed.
Yeah. I have some rules for sewing because I sewed over my finger once. And So if I am hungry or tired, or I make the same stupid mistake 3 times in a row, which has been a really good rule of thumb, like if my needle just keeps coming unthreaded or something.
Like I was up till like 6 a.m. because I couldn't sleep because this thing wasn't working on the
Yeah.
first try. Like,
And
And then
also,
you'll go
if
to
the
bed
thing,
frustrated, you'll just be like, oh.
if you fuck up and you make a really stupid mistake, especially if you make the mistake more than once, it's like it's time to go to bed.
yeah, you need like at least 2 hours, 3 hours buffer if you're gonna plug it in.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm working on lately.
Yeah.
I'm doing this paper mache octopus.
Nice.
So okay, so first I'm gonna say, yeah, a couple friends and I are putting together a show in May, and we haven't worked out the details exactly yet. It's part of a Brooklyn Voltage Lab that I got Carnelix and Bandit Lou, yeah, who are around, and we are in New York, so we are starting to put on some kind of live shows and collaborate with other artists, whether sculptors or painters or whatnot. And for the next installation / project we're doing, we're trying to do 4 big shows a year. The second one, or the first one of this year, is going to be coming up. We're not sure exactly when, but for it, I'm doing a prototype or a proof of concept for the show, and it's a paper mache octopus that when you put like gates into my like circuit bent VCO that has like the Texas Instrument voice, like the speak and spell, and I'll use I'll use a patch cable in my thumb in order to do a gate, to do a trigger.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm getting the paper mache octopus, and I'm putting copper tape along the tentacles, as well as conductive electricity paint as well, and then putting little designs on the head and on the eyes, and then that's being soldered onto patch cables, which will then be put into trigger or gate inputs. With the idea being, you would then do like some kind of ambient patch or self-generative patch or something that simple triggers could have effects. So then you could take the octopus and kind of do the touch of the octopus, and you're not going to have any kind of direct, but you'll be interacting with the sound in a weird way. I haven't, like I said, it's a prototype, so I'm kind of worried about the distribution of your body's electricity into that much of a surface area. I'm not sure how that's going to work, because I know it works very well when you just touch the end of a patch cable. But there have been other things it was inspired by a Instagram post, which I can't remember the name at the moment, but I'll link it eventually. And I'm filming the whole process. So I filmed the paper mache already. I'm filming the build of the whole thing, and I'll eventually have a video for it. But that's like my new project that I'm kind of taking on, and it's pretty fun. The octopus looks amazing. I love it. It looks great. So
that's so cool. I mean, I want to see it as well, but also like play with some pencil lead, like maybe on a sheet of paper. If I remember right, it can act either as a resistor or capacitor, so you can draw longer shapes to make different pitch values and things like that.
So that was the next step. I was gonna try to do kind of some pitch, like a pitch strip or something like that. I'd figure out how to work that. Or also, I cannibalize a lot of my kids' toys and take out their battery cartridges and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about making just an electrified octopus.
Yeah.
Right. So that when you're touching it, just like having the battery charge the surface, and then you touch it, and it's the disruption of that charged surface that is doing the I don't know. Basically, if the basic concept I have on my mind doesn't work as strongly as I want, I'm going to try to do some of these other kinds of things. So I'll have to hit you up for some ideas if that's the case. Especially you, Isaac. You seem to have some pretty good ones. So.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking about that, yeah, definitely like conductive paints they make a lot of. And you
I have those, yeah.
They use it on the Rene or whatever, where it's like you'll have conductive paints with lots of lines that are close together, and when you touch between the lines, you bridge that connection and you make you short it out basically.
Yeah.
And so,
you got to get that new clock module as like the eye for the octopus right there.
I wanted to just try to figure out how to incorporate LEDs or just something like to make it. But I'm gonna. This is just proof of concept, and my instinct is always to go big and to be really intricate. But I really just need, it's going to be a bummer when I make this octopus look so fantastic, and then it comes to showtime and it doesn't work. So
yeah, make a small one. Make a mini octopus.
It is it's like this big. It's like this big.
Yeah. No,
It's not painted
Yeah.
yet. I just got done with it. Do you want to see the shell?
Yeah, sure.
And I think
Yes.
that size, like, I don't think you're going to have issues with too much like conductive material on the surface area. Like, I think it'll be fine, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'll show you the tape I'm using as well.
If it was like 20-foot tentacles, there'd be some capacitance happening there. But
Mm. I'm trying to think of like conductive.
oh yeah, copper tape. That's a good idea.
Copper tape or like foil. You could do. Have you ever seen
Yeah,
like
yeah.
video of people like laminating foil onto paper, like gold foil for like
Mhm.
Yeah, that could
Like-
do it.
that? You could do that with a copper foil, maybe.
Yeah, I'd use copper foil because I mean gold foil is relatively cheap, but it's so fragile. I would yeah, be a little
It is
harder.
more conductive, weirdly enough. I mean, the only reason they don't use gold or silver in electronics is so expensive.
Yeah.
All right. So
Oh,
Ah!
So good.
And his
here's,
video cut out for me.
Yeah.
So there it is.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love the eyes.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good.
So
So-
cool.
So menacing.
So then I have copper tape, right? It's both
Yeah.
sides conduct. And then this is so expensive. I want to try and make it myself next time with graphite. But it's just, this is the electric paint.
Okay.
Something
um,
that size, you shouldn't encounter any like.
Yeah,
interference.
and I'm not going to like be doing the whole area. What I'm going to do is do like a strip here, and then here, and then the strips will go underneath, and it's hollow inside, face hugger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is horrifying.
So yeah, I'm going to do I'm going to paper mache the inside today. But so then it will come inside, and then I'll do the soldering inside. I'll do like this little solder chamber here, and so then the patch cables will just come out here, and I'll probably try and set it right here. You know, I don't know exactly where I'm going to set it, but then I'll take the conductive paint and just do like little designs on it, and so that when you touch it, it's not going to be like I'm not going to electrify the entire surface of the paper mache object. So we'll
Look
see.
up on the Look Mum No Computer Project site. There's I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. There should be like a aluminum foil drums. NoComputer.com. I hate typing that
I
URL.
think you think
Projects.
of that one ad for.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
and
Oh, yeah,
they
sorry.
made a video. I don't know if it's on the project page or not, but there's a video on these like foil drums, and I think you could essentially use the exact same circuit for that in terms of like triggering the sounds.
I wanted to mention just for my own reasons that it was Bandit Loon Carnolix were the kind of in our hatching, we like for this upcoming show, they really took the lead on kind of concept wise, so this was their concept that they kind of were inspired by this other Instagram. So I'm just doing a proof of concept from their idea. I just wanted to give credit where credit's due, but yeah.
Hey, yeah, they're awesome. And both of them stream here, so that's cool. I haven't seen Bandit Loot in a little while, but I know they stream here.
Yeah.
What else? I think
Tim said, I made a synth xylophone with aluminum foil pads and spoons wired to ground. It was
yeah,
under
there you go.
150
Like, just
Where it
steal
says
Tim's circuit.
Real
Because you
quick,
just
where
need to
you guys-
trigger stuff, right?
the YouTube chat.
the YouTube chat. Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
I wanted to say that YouTube is not loading for me for whatever reason, so I haven't been able to see chat today. But I wanted to say hello to everybody and how are you doing? But I can't read what you're saying. But
I'm not. Yeah, I gotta find the link for it. I'm not sure where it
it's
is.
just the circles that are spinning.
YouTube.com/Earth Modular Society /live, I think.
There's a C in there.
You don't have to put the C in anymore. I don't
You
know
don't?
why.
Oh yeah, there it is. Ta-da.
Well.
Let me see if
Wow.
it's coming up.
Been typing 2 extra characters.
Mhm.
Oh, awesome. There we go. I've got the chat.
Yeah, because if you can make it trigger stuff, like that's something I was thinking about doing in a different way, not like touch triggers, but like I was going to make it. I'm planning to build an out of the box module for if DEF CON happens for folks so they have to pick locks to trigger sounds, kind of things.
Oh wow.
What? That is cool.
Sounds wild.
Obviously, the harder the lock, the cooler the sound.
I've been
which is
doing that.
entirely up to me.
I've been doing that and mastering a 30-minute set.
Oh.
Yeah. well, what I did was so the set that I did on Christmas Eve, in Christmas Day or whatever, on EMS, was a set that I had done at the live show on in December 10th, and I recorded it, and I recorded every individual voice,
wow.
and then reassembled the 30-minute set as loops. So I'll sometimes do this with like your 6 or 7 minute long track, but doing the 30-minute and getting the consistency across the way is I wouldn't do it again. I'm going to see it through to the end, but I probably wouldn't do it again.
That's so much mastering.
This is why I never edit anything, is because I did it once.
I don't edit anything. I've been thinking about, mastering has been on my mind as of late, because I've gotten to the point where I feel really comfortable with a lot of the sounds I'm making. Like, I have a lot of synthesizers making a lot of noises, but my master mixer is a Bifaco stereo mixer that's just 4 levels. And so I've been thinking about investing in something like a Mackie 1202 or a 1204 or whatever, or the 1404, one of their bigger mixers. And then just, I wanted to make another utility module I was looking into making, was just a passive line step down. So basically just voltage dividers. So you put a modular in, and then you get a 1/4-inch line level out.
Yeah.
So I could just get a snake cable, snake it out of my modular into a mixer, and then use the mixer for effect sends even to my modular stuff.
Yep.
And then
That would be really
basically that would be nice, because then I could, because I've been messing with VCV, and VCV has a nice mixer with all that, and it's just it's really cool just having per channel EQ and a big long fader for the level of something. And that's something that I feel like modular is really lacking in.
Yes.
There's a couple things. There's the Bifaco mix, the Hex mix, which is really nice, but it's also massive. It's huge, and it's very expensive. It's $500 to do it yourself.
Wow.
And all that.
Yeah, what I would recommend, if you're at all interested in recording multi-channels, is to go out of the box, because I think the box is better used for other stuff. And I would even look into I love my Zoom L12. Look into the Zoom series. There's an L8.
Yeah.
And the reason I like those is because you do have per channel control, which means the mix in the first place is just a little easier to manage. But the bigger thing is you can just hit record on the device onto an SD card. And record the whole 14 channels on mine. I think that 8 is 10 channels or something, because it's individual channels plus the master mix. I think that's just the way to go. If you want to do any mastering, being able to do that is super,
I've been just thinking about it for stuff a lot of I bought a compressor a year and a half ago. Like a God's Box Lollipop. And since then, I have been completely obsessed with compression, and I just want more compressors. Something, just having a nice master compressor for my whole mix is just something I just need to get it.
Yeah, I mean, all of the mixers have. Well, a lot of them have compression. This has instant. There's a dedicated compressor knob on every channel. I'm not trying to sell Zoom products, but something like that I've found to be really nice, because you don't even have to send it to your computer. You can it's got 14 channels over USB to your computer if you really.
I think that's my next mixer.
But I love it so much. I ordered the L8 for potentially a live show, so we'll see.
Oh, that's
cool.
Used, of course.
I've been thinking about. I want to start doing live shows, because I've never played a live show, and here in Glasgow there are options. But I've been working on this, which is a vintage 60s picnic box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute.
That's so cool.
It's still got the things for the plates and stuff, but you can strap a Tascam in there for recording or something.
Yeah.
Another thing that would be really
And it's
I have
cool
a
because I think I
silverware
can just
drawer.
yeah, it's got like basically it's a picnic box. And so, but it's nice because I could use it. I could just bring it like a suitcase, and it's not like a massive Pelican. And I can, because I don't have a car, and so I'd
Is
have
that
to.
trapezoidal?
No, it is square, but it's actually a perfect square. It's like a box, which
Okay.
is perfect for. I think it's 7U 60 HP. So it's got a 1U row, 2 3U, and two 3U, and then yeah, and it's just I've got a like a tip top Zeus. I've got some little utilities in there, and I've been working on like putting stuff into it, and then just getting it ready for a live show because I'd like to try playing live somewhere. There's a couple of places around here, and then yeah, various things.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I've been wanting to go live, but like, or in person, but like, I'm in a very small town, and the drive to Denver itself is like a few hours. So
You fly to New York, okay? We'll do a show around you, okay?
Hold on.
Yeah.
My modular is big.
That
I'm
don't
not
fit on a
flying with that.
plane.
Right, like
Yeah,
even my
it's like
Eurorack case I made really big, but there is a show in Denver on the 18th that I hopefully will play at, pandemic permitting. So that's sort of what I'm getting ready for, and like all these updates.
I mean, you need to toss that in like a flatbed or something like.
Mhm.
It's going in my like
Oh,
they're
dude.
individually, the cases have handles and they're carryable like a suitcase. Like it's a heavier suitcase, but like my family's luggage suitcases are heavier than it, so it's like manageable, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'll have to test to see what fits in the car, but yeah.
I brought all this stuff from Texas to Glasgow, and which was terrifying, by the way, this much modular. And that's why I bought a travel case. So I bought this big Tragatronic Pelican, and then I didn't trust the Pelican, so I put this inside of another suitcase and then checked that bag. But it was really scary, actually. Weird story. So when I first got here,
How did that go?
okay. So
Did you get flagged and like?
luckily, no. So I thought I was like, okay, well, TSA or border whatever is going to go through and they're going to be like, they're going to check it out and stuff because I didn't put any locks on it. But I put it in a really like a big plastic black suitcase. It's like one of the Amazon Basics, just a hard shell on the outside. It's really nondescript looking. And so I brought that, and when we flew into Glasgow, neither of my big checked bags were there. They were apparently on another flight that was coming the next day, which was really annoying. So I was already like anxious that they were still in Amsterdam or whatever. And then the next day we go to the airport, and they only have the one case that doesn't have the modular in it. We're like, okay, what the fuck happened? And I luckily I had put a luggage tag on the outside of it, and there are air tags inside of this case, so I have a GPS track on either half of it, just in case it gets stolen. But apparently, like a student, like a flying in for university, a Chinese student who didn't speak very much English, had accidentally, and we got like an email being like, I think I took your bag by mistake, because this guy had picked it up thinking it was his. And so we had to like go in the middle of the night to pick up the modular that he had taken by mistake. So like, don't put your Eurorack in a generic
bag that everyone owns.
Oh,
because someone could take it by mistake. Luckily, everything is like still there and stuff.
I was gonna say,
I spray painted poop on one of my bags just for that reason.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get like a big sticker or just something that doesn't like, because it's the balance between like with the generic bag, it doesn't look like it's valuable. Someone's not gonna be like, oh yeah.
Okay, so final topic. We'll go fast.
Yeah.
I was showing this cool sticker I have, and I think to Frederick earlier, and we were like, we got to find a place to put all these stickers on. So obviously, like, you need to load up your suitcase with stickers. Like, that's an obvious one, since it goes around your Trogtronic case, which shout out to Trogtronic, because that's what I used in my Eurorack case. But like, what do you do with stickers? Like, I don't know how well they'll stick to like untreated, dusty old shed plywood. Like this was even under the shed. It wasn't even inside a building. It was just under the shed for who knows how long. And I was like, I'm gonna make a case out of this. And of course, like nothing is straight on it. Like it's very particular about being warped.
Are you ever going to make another one and replace it, or is that going to
This
be
one
your?
I find the most beautiful because it is shed-wood.
We love
so
Warpy
no.
Boy.
Yeah.
But like if you were closer, I can't really show you, but like I put rubber feet on the bottom of all of these. One, to go over the handles because I hadn't figured out inset handles yet, and two, because I have like, I don't know, a 1/4 inch of washers between the foot on this side and the bottom of the board, and none on this side because like it's so warped. I have to, like, they can only stand in this order level.
Bespoke rubber feet.
Yes, exactly. So
It's
like,
so-
what should we do with stickers? Like,
So,
let's
Life
yeah.
is too short not to use the sticker, first of
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Well, I have
Oh,
some on my laptop. I have some on books. Just put them on stuff. If you have
I
any
usually
kind
put
of
them on my
container-
laptop cover, but I've dropped this cover enough that I actually stopped putting on stickers on it early because it just falls off. But like I usually put them on a cover because then when I'm done with the laptop, I can keep the sticker art. Yeah. Oops, upside down. It's
Yeah.
just
See,
a-
and I covered.
also
I covered the. Well, I covered the Nifty Case and stickers, which Nelson is now using, and it just makes it better, and also covers up the ugly logo.
I agree. I mean, I love
sounds better
stickers. And
now.
I love stickers. My friends like to make stickers. I have like so many stickers. I feel like I
have
could
bags.
open up like I feel like I could open up like a little museum of
Yeah.
like the musical sticker from like 2014 or even earlier for the guitar pedals like until now.
Yeah, well, what I've been doing with my stickers is like at DEF CON, there's a sticker swap where you go and like dump a bunch of stickers and take a bunch of stickers. I just dump a bunch.
Oh.
Like if we ever did a synth meetup and I went, like I would do the same thing. Like everybody bring some stickers, let's just dump them and people can take what they like. Obviously only the cool stuff, but yeah, I want to coat my something and that's a freaking cool sticker.
Oh, that's on my. I have one on my
Let me see
case.
it.
I've got a really, really cool one from Circuit Benders UK from when I ordered the Rat PCB. And it's like, I forget exactly, I'm going to paraphrase, but it's like 10 thumb, no talent, noise pollution or something. It's like, it speaks to me. That one's going to go on something I like.
I never figured out what to do with the giant Ikari sticker.
I have that too, and I love it. And that's probably not going on anything because it's beautiful. It's like artwork. I do have the Soft Pop came with a poster as well here, which is clearly adorning my fridge. Also, the packaging for the Soft Pop was pretty cool, so I put that up too. So yeah. Yeah, I would love some good synth posters. I'm actually thinking of making one because I'm planning to move out of this room upstairs and not under water pipes.
I'm so sad about that. Yeah, I just saw you had one. So.
Yeah, I like the Winter Bloom. I actually like the Winter Bloom business card that came with it. I want that
lovely.
as a sticker.
I kept the business card. It's in the sticker package because I liked it.
This is
Another's love.
But I'm going to make a poster of the washing machine or the dryer here, just because I feel like it keeps me company when I'm making synth stuff.
Oh yeah, that's signature. That's a signature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are so cool.
A pin? More synth people need to start including a pin. It's a nice pin. Oh yeah, Nelson has one that's a beautiful wooden spinning prop.
Oh, cool.
But
I
my
have-
tides is used, so I didn't get a toy.
I have all of them, and my kid loves them, and I just hang them all over my. You can see like my the ledges for my rack, my my stands. So I'll just hang them over that, and they're like a little Christmas tree on my
So cute.
my stands. Yeah.
Oh, also I have a New York Modular Society sticker on my bicycle. There's another location you could put a sticker.
Oh yeah, I got some locals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Saddle Up the Robots, but Dissonant forgot to send me a sticker when I ordered my module. Bought. Ah! He won't give me a damn sticker. I have
don't have
a
a
CK
sticker from
sample behind
anybody.
where I play.
This
CK
is
sample
a
space.
fridge magnet.
Yes, I have 2 of those.
What?
All good. I have a pin.
So like I can't use these stickers. I can't bring myself to do it. It's not like I want to. I just like I start to peel and
There.
Is it?
Cute.
well I feel like if I had a calculator and I went into a public place, I think that might be the perfect use for a sticker.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that those are good because then you see someone across the way on the quad.
Yeah.
And you're
Whoa.
like, okay, we're the same person. Let's
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Oh, I have a patch too.
Y'all are geniuses. You just made me inspired. Like I'm gonna build this case for like some of this outboard gear here for when I go live. So I need like my
Tina the cat.
sequencer and like a couple other things. When I build that wooden case, which will have a plywood lid and it will look sort of that, I should just mask off, like inset mask off the center of it, spray paint the center black, like a matte
Cover
black,
it with stickers.
cover it with stickers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh,
Oh wow.
yep.
When I did the Nifty case, I like sat down specifically to put stickers on it, and I very carefully cut all the stickers, most of the stickers. That's so cool.
Right, like they'll take apart like their entire sequencer, or like I see it a lot on the like NPCs and things like that, and just completely code them.
I mean, or if I were going. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like if I were in my bar going days of days of yore, then I would go. It's like just in the pisser, right? Like just the bathrooms of the places I usually frequent. You walk in and it's just. I mean, it's exactly that. It's sticker left or right, up and down. Yeah.
It sounds like Isaac's audio is not making it to YouTube for whatever reason.
What?
Everybody be quiet and Isaac, only you talk for a second. I just want to confirm this. All right, that's probably good enough. And now we have to wait like 30 seconds.
It's
It
weird
seems
because
to
we
be
can hear you
fine.
fine.
You sound fine to me.
You know what? People on YouTube just don't have the right kind of ears.
Yeah, that's probably why.
They don't know how to listen. I'm sorry. This is so weird. So weird. I don't know. Anyway, we've been going for
An hour and a half.
yeah. Let's call it. I'll play a little outro, and then unless anyone else wants to play the outro, and we'll end it. All right, I'm gonna do this thing. do that. And that. Forgot I had it on DNP mode.
It works.